So I worked in two back-to-back toxic workplaces. Um, and it was really tough. The second one took so much out of me. And we sometimes get into this toxic workplace cycle where we leave one and end up in another. So if you are in a toxic workplace now and it's your first one, you need to watch this training. If you are in a toxic workplace and you've been in toxic workplaces for more than once, then you need to watch this training because I'm going to teach you how to break the toxic workplace cycle. Now, this is one I recorded on Instagram Live a while ago, but I want to share it here on YouTube because it's not here. And as someone whose confidence literally completely bottomed out from doing this, I want you so badly to watch this because the breaking the cycle with this sort of method this is the method I use to break the cycle. And I've now coached hundreds of people using it to break their own, is so important. So I wanted to share it here. I didn't want to retape it because it's gold just as it is. So stay tuned to watch it. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you never miss one of these highly valuable trainings that I'm giving away for free, that just watching them alone can change everything for you. Okay, stay tuned and let me know what you think and how it's helping and any questions that you may have. Take care. See you next week.
Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome to another career lesson with me, Sarah Curto, career coach who helps you find a career you love. Today, we're talking about a doozy, recovering from toxic workplaces. If you're watching this live, feel free to share your own story and challenges with toxic workplaces so that I can provide any help. But we've all been there. Most of us have, at least. Coworker that berates you, throws you under the bus, gossips about you behind your back, maybe even tries to get you fired. A manager that undermines you, is constantly nitpicking and chastising you, always looking over your shoulder to be like, what are you doing? Micromanaging, just doesn't trust you at all, making you feel less than. An environment that overworks you without really a care in the world. Like, they don't care. Whose words don't line up with their actions. They say they care, but it doesn't really seem like they do. A culture that expects its employees to come up with solutions to the problems management has been causing. I'm hearing a lot of this in COVID times, where it's up to the employees to figure out their own mental health when it's the management who's creating that problem. Don't get me started. Where they take like everything from you without giving you anything in return. These are the classic toxic workplace examples that we have experienced. Now, if you're watching the replay, hit the anger button to let me know if this is you. If you have worked in a toxic or are currently working in a toxic, hit that anger button. And let me know in the comments if you're currently in one or if you have gotten out of it, so we can celebrate that. Days, weeks, months, years ruined by these people, by these environments. Working in a toxic workplace really takes a devastating toll on us. And the real major toll that it makes is on our confidence. Like, it destroys it, it erodes it to where it's almost nothing. Because even though we are angry at them, and I'm going to talk about that anger, you generally get to a point where you're mostly angry and disgusted at yourself. Like, why can't you leave? Why can't you stand up for yourself? Why can't you say the things? You are angry and disgusted that you're not doing anything about it or able to get out of it. Your trust in your abilities begin to erode. Maybe they're right, you start to think. And then because of that, you begin to make small mistakes, proving to yourself that they are. I compare it to like those cautious, like drivers. I was going to use a stereotype, but I stopped myself. A cautious driver. My mom is one. So afraid of getting into a car accident that they end up getting into an accident. Like my mom has gone into more little fender benders and she is super cautious, like super uptight, close. My dad is the most distracted driver. He's like looking out windows and he like never gets into any fender benders or accidents. It's funny how when we are assuming things are going to go bad, that they do. When we assume that maybe they are right, maybe we aren't very good at our jobs, we become not very good at our jobs. Self-fulfilling prophecy. There's a psychological theory on it. Now, let me know if this sounds like you. I'd love to hear it. Now, the problem with toxic environments is, hot take, it's not really the toxic environment. It's more how we allow those interactions to fuel our own self-hatred, allowing them to spin us in a never-ending cycle of self-hatred and self-righteous anger. It's hating yourself, followed by hating them, followed by hating yourself, and around and around and around you go. Now, part of this is the reason, like, especially when we take into account personality types and gender and other situations, like other aspects of ourselves, where we are in our life. It's why toxic environments, or I'm just going to say, it's why certain environments are toxic to some people and not toxic to others. And a lot of it is, that's why the environment is not always the problem. It's how we use that environment to fuel our self-hatred and our self-righteous anger. Because being in that cycle of hating yourself, hating them, hating yourself, hating them, like, it's not productive. It's just keeping you stuck. It's why you end up staying in a toxic environment way longer than you ever wanted to. It's why many of us have been fired or laid off from those environments instead of leaving ourselves. It's because we're in that cycle. So the solution is to get out of that cycle. Because I don't want you, even if you do get a chance to leave, or even if you're fired or laid off, I don't want you to end up in another. I know I had a couple back to back, and that was the worst. So we really want to make sure that not only are you breaking that cycle, but you're also leaving this toxic environment in your past. You're not just replacing it with another one. So getting out of that cycle, what that means is then we are able to find a job, a team, a manager, a company that you love and that treats you like you want to be treated. But first, like, we really need to work on that confidence, because time in a toxic workplace, like I said, it fuels that self-hatred, creates a toxic narrative and set of beliefs that we begin to self-identify with. We need to break away from that. So what I don't want is, I do not want you to go to a mirror and start saying affirmations. If you've watched any of my confidence stuff, you know I never begin there. We always begin with stopping where you are and assessing what is going on in your brain, what you're saying to yourself. And I want the good, but I really want the bad and the ugly. I want to know all of the shitty things you're saying to yourself. I want to know the trash talking. That way we can then renew and reset. Step 2. which is rewriting those shitty things and beginning to be more grateful for those good things, focusing and building on those things you have to offer. And then we can start moving forward confidently, deciding every day to love yourself instead of hating yourself. And once we've sort of taken care of that, then we can deal with the anger, the self-righteous anger. Because we love to get into the why it's so toxic, the why they are the worst, why they are so shitty. Because sure, they're shitty and effed up and all of those things. But you can't change them. You will never change it. So you need to 100% commit to leaving. And it's like 100% commitment in your brain, so that even though the coworker, the manager, the environment are your present, just the act of committing to leaving already makes them a part of your past. So this allows you to say things to yourself like, not my problem. Thank goodness I'm leaving. I'm out of here as soon as I can be. We're really focused on that act of leaving all the time so that we're not internalizing the shit, so that we're not ruminating and ruining our days when they do something poorly. So we're like, not my problem anymore, or I'm leaving, whatever. It's a you problem, not a me problem anymore. Like, we're gone. Then we can move past the stewing in that anger and learn from it. Learn why this environment is bad for you. Because like I said, some other people could be fine in it. But what is it about it that is bad for you? And then this will allow you to determine exactly what you need to see in your next step. Exactly the type of manager, the type of team, the type of environment. So this is what allows you to break away from toxic workplaces for good. For good. Now, it is a simple 2 steps, but simple doesn't always mean easy, which is where someone like me comes in. And especially someone like me, because I'm there to watch that cycle of self-hatred and self-righteous anger. I want to make sure that you don't get trapped in that cycle. I want to make sure that we're able to break free, because our brains, those neural pathways, they are strong. And we love sometimes to stew in it, because the brain kind of is like, they like the devil they know, not the devil they don't. So whatever it takes to keep you stuck. But because I've been there, I know how it feels in your bones. Like, I'm haunted. I still have nightmares. I've had a nightmare just the other night about one of my workplaces. So I know how it feels. I also know what it takes to move on. So I invite you to set up a call to tell me about your toxic workplace. Tell me about all of the shitty things that they're doing. Show me that cycle so that I can show you a way out, whether it's working together or not.
If this training resonated with you, then join the Career You Love Academy. It's my group coaching monthly membership program that takes unhappy workers who are unfulfilled, exhausted, and dreading their days to finding work they love, where they're finally making more money, more of an impact, while having the time and energy to truly enjoy and love their life. You can join us by going to www.sarahcurto.ca/CYLA. Now that's a Sarah without an H. So it's www.saracurto.ca/CYLA. See you in there.